Stay up out the way, don't get your dish splat. Stop letting this shit slide and get your lick back. And get your lick back. I feel like I'm JX. J-Way. I'm a perfectionist. Adderall got me restless. I'm gone. Run with a wild crew, they get reckless. Young boy, come up off that neck. Give me that. To the trends. See a lead, be the band.
Welcome to Bleachers and Speakers. I'm your host, June. I got my boy B Foster, the diligent working B Foster. He just got done with a show talking about Detroit Tigers baseball on Corner de Copa. With that being said, make sure you subscribe to Bleachers and Speakers on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to Corner de Copa and Midwest Ciphers on YouTube. Make sure for your audio fix, you go to all the aggregators. That's anywhere you can listen to a podcast. You can find us. Just type in Bleachers and Speakers, FFSN in your search. Make sure the notification bell is on so when we drop content, you'll get an alert and download those episodes. Make sure you're following us on all those platforms. And those are platforms like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube Music, Pandora. Anywhere you can listen to a podcast, you can listen to us there. Boss, what's up, Tim? Tim is in the building promptly, man. I love to see it, man. Boss, we've had a season, man. Unfortunately, it ended at the regular season.
Right.
I have a lot to say. It took a minute to actually process it all. Don't want to be emotional about it. It is what it is. And I don't want to get this talking reckless. So I'm going to let you set it off, Foster. Do you have any opening statements before I kind of, have a controlled rage today?
It was definitely a disappointing season. All in all, I feel like, we were a couple calls here and there, a couple games here and there from playing today or yesterday. I'm not, I don't view it as a major, I don't feel like it's a major step back. I think that we are prone to turn things around and be at the top of our division again. But we definitely got some work to do. And, we're going to talk about it because Brad Holmes is going to use our blueprint to figure out what we need to do to get back to, where we want to be.
I'm glad you have optimism towards that.
Dude, you don't?
I mean, to him listening to us.
Oh, yeah.
Now, Brad doesn't listen to anybody. He's going to do what he's going to do.
No, for sure. You're right about that. You're right about that.
I'm not, pessimistic about going forward. There's just a lot of things that went on this year. Some of it was rinse and repeat of last year. Somehow we have to get over the hump. Let me ask you this, Foster, before we, we're going to get into this, but what do you say when you hear people say the window has closed for opportunity for a championship or Super Bowl? What do you have to say about that?
I disagree. When you look at the roster makeup, we still have a very talented team. I think we still, regardless of how things went, I think we still have probably the most talented team in the NFC North. We just had some misfortune, which, no excuses. But I think we look, I think moving forward we look pretty good. We've locked in, damn near every essential player outside of a handful that we might talk about later on. But yeah, I think that I think we're still in a good place. It's difficult to get, as you see, it's difficult to get back to the playoffs. It's difficult to get back to the NFC Championship game, but I think that we're still in a position to where we could just make a few adjustments and get back to that point.
Most teams hear that phrase, the window is closed, but if like I know, things can change from season to season. All right. We went 15-2, number one team in the NFC, to not making the playoffs the following year. So we know that things can change for the worse, but they can also change for the better. The most common thing that happened both seasons, and I'm talking about this year and last year, were the injuries.
For sure.
The injuries definitely played a big part in our winning in the playoffs last year and throughout this season, right? Now, not saying that's the only reason. I think that equipped with an inexperienced offensive line up front, that was basically the bulk of it, right? Because I think we have a solid defensive unit outside of the defensive backfield. And I think the defensive backfield took a step back because DJ Reed was out for a few weeks. We missed Kirby for most of the season and half the season with Branch. So you take anybody that has 2 all-pro safeties in their lineup and take them out of the season, and I like to see how their defensive backfield performs. Terrion Arnold, your starting corner, was out most of the season.
Mm-hmm.
So I would like to take any team and take their top 3 defensive backs and remove them from the season and see how well they do. And just not an excuse, it's in reality, right? Now, the offensive play calling. At one point, it was horrendous. But I will say this. I don't care who's calling the plays. If you're not blocking up front, you can't run the ball. It don't matter who's calling those plays. It don't matter what you call if you can't control the line of scrimmage. And to have such a down year on the offensive line and to be 9-8 for Goff to pass for over 4,000 yards, for Jahmyr Gibbs to rush for 1,200 yards and have 700 yards receiving, to have St. Brown to have 1,000 yards receiving. I don't know if J-Mo had 1,000 yards receiving. Not quite. To have all of these things go positive with a less than mediocre offensive line, I think that's something you could build upon and go about your business and handle it because the pieces are there, right? We missed Laporta. Laporta was out for how many games, Foster? At least 8, 9?
At least.
So, you go half the season without Laporta on your offense. They had some tight ends in there I've never heard of before because Brock Wright was hurt. So,
and Zylstra was hurt for a second too. So
your top 3 tight ends were hurt. Now, and this is what I hate about the fan base, right?
Mm.
The fan base, I'm gonna tell you, and this is, if I'm wrong, if I'm missing something, please let me know, Foster. There's a tweet sent out to Montgomery, tagged him, said, "Hey, I love you. You should ask for a trade. They're misused. They're not utilizing you." I'm paraphrasing, and he loved the tweet.
He did.
Now, it's not just one. It wasn't just one sentence. It wasn't, "You should ask for a trade," and he loved it. It was kudos at the beginning of it, and then "you should request for a trade," and he liked the tweet. We took that as fans and said Montgomery wants out of here. He never once. He was the ultimate. It's not fair to Montgomery. He was the ultimate professional. And yes, there were times where he didn't get the ball as much as he did last year. But he never said anything publicly. He never went. But we, the fans, took that and said, "Oh, he wants out of here." Now, he's still under contract. And so that piece right there, and this is what I don't like about the fans, is like they take something and they run with it. But that's going to be interesting to see if there was any smoke from that. Because if I'm the Lions, you keep Montgomery. There's nothing wrong with Montgomery. There's nothing wrong with having two backs. Those two get along. Gibbs and Montgomery get along like brothers, from my understanding. You shore up that offensive line, you get back at it.
And you bring in a real offensive coordinator.
You bring in a real offensive coordinator, because at one point, and we said during the season, Foster, when Dan Campbell took over the plays, it was the writing on the wall for the offensive coordinator. We knew he was about gone. We knew it. I said, oh, man, it's over for him. It's a wrap. It's a wrap. Yeah, and the media plays a big part. They took it and ran with it as well. They definitely, it was on, media was using that as, he wants out of here. He wants out of here. And the crazy thing about it is running backs are undervalued in the NFL. So if you trade him, you probably won't get much in return. What do you think what do you think you would get for Montgomery?
I think you could get probably get a third for him.
You think so?
I think a team that values him as a number one running back, which many did up until last year, where the play calling was atrocious and we had no offensive line. I think he could be. I think some people would value him as a number one back somewhere.
Would you be happy with getting a third for him?
Possibly, just because I know ultimately we're going to pay Gibbs. We're not going to pay Montgomery down the line. So if Montgomery is looking for 30 carries a game, 25 carries a game, and his last big contract, it'd probably be best. It's probably be best to get what we can for him, I think. Because he's never going to be our primary back again. That's Gibbs for the foreseeable future. So, if he's seeking a RB1 type load, he's not going to get it in Detroit.
And I think he's known that for a minute. I think he's known that. I think that's apparent. But what I'm saying is this, right?
A third round pick is solid. Remember, we got Tesla in the third round.
Yeah, I get it. But at the same time, are you in a rush to get rid of him? Unless he wants to go, then yeah.
How long is he contracted for?
I don't know. I think it's a couple more years.
Montgomery contract. Because we signed him like 2 years ago. He's on a 2-year deal. So it expires 2028.
Yeah. So,
wow.
I mean, there's
not
no
a 5-year
rush.
deal.
Yeah, there's no rush. There's no rush unless he wants out. And that's the interesting part. Like, I want to see where he is. You know what I'm saying? If he wants out, that's a totally different discussion. You know what I'm saying?
I think they tried to, they made a halfway effort. I mean, you saw him lined up in the getting direct snaps, and they did that like 3 times in the last game of the year. So like they're trying to use him. It just kind of looked like they ran out of stuff to do at the end of the year.
Well, I think it had nothing to do with the utilization of it. I think we all knew as fans, as the coaches, that up front wasn't what it used to be. Montgomery's strength is running in between the tackles. If your interior offensive line is horrible, what good is he?
Because you saw a couple bad games from Gibbs too. It wasn't just Montgomery.
It wasn't
both.
Montgomery. I think Gibbs had the last 5 games of the season where he didn't do much.
Yeah, up until the last game. I think the last game he had a pretty good game.
But prior to that, it was like 4 games in a row: 30 yards, 20 yards, 40 yards, 30. You know, it was bad, and it was definitely had everything to do with that interior offensive line. Because, well, I'm not even gonna lie. I was looking at the draft 3 weeks ago. You know, I was looking at draft picks 3 weeks ago, like, okay, this is what we need. And I wasn't looking at names. I was looking at how do you approach the draft as far as personnel drafting? Like, what position do you draft?
Right.
Right. And there's so many directions you can go. There's so many things to uncover when you talk about going to next season. Like, let me ask you this, Foster. Are you content with Terry Arnold and DJ Reed as your starting corners? That's a big, I'm not asking you, I'm just saying, like, these are things you have to think about.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
How healthy, when do you expect Branch back? How healthy would Kirby be next year? These are things you have to consider going into the draft. Are you content with Muhammad being your other edge?
He's going to get a raise. That's for sure.
Anzalone, do you start looking for a replacement for him?
Yeah.
Do you need to get faster at linebacker? How well will Talik Williams develop from year 1 to year 2? Not saying you're going to go draft. I think you have to deal with the D tackles you have. Aleem McNeil is on a deal. I mean, it got a big deal. You drafted a rookie at D tackles. You are not even looking for a D tackle in the draft. I think if you can resign Pico, you're good. I don't know how long he's been signed to, but
got to resign Lopez.
That's what I mean. Lopez, whatever his name is. If you can keep him, and you have, I don't know if the DJ Reader situation is over with.
He's a free agent.
I don't think they're resigning.
No.
Not with drafting Talik Williams and having McNeil. No. And if you keep Lopez, you might not have a shot at. I mean, you might not want to look into DJ. What do you do with Marcus Davenport?
Come on now.
I'm just saying. These are questions you have to answer if you're in the front office going forward towards the draft, towards free agency. I got a simple philosophy for free agency, Foster.
What's that?
We'll talk about it after the break. We're going to take a quick break. When we get back, we'll talk about possibilities at free agent, man. It's gonna be interesting. If you're watching, give us about 20 seconds. If you're listening, you're gonna hear some wonderful ads. Very interesting. Tim says we let Reader go because of exactly what y'all experienced this year with it. Yeah. I mean, it was good while it lasted,
Got a good year out of him.
Yeah. Foster, I have a philosophy, Foster, when it comes to free agency and the draft, right? Depending upon how you feel, you don't draft a corner unless he's like one of a kind. I'm talking top 3, top 5 type Heisman, 6'2", 4'3", great touchdown, that type thing,
Yeah.
I think the Lions are drafting at 17, and I think any corner that you would draft would be going way before them, right? My philosophy is this: you go out and get your veteran corner. The learning curve is really different as far as a corner in the NFL coming from college. So if you get you a corner that understands technique already, that has the physical capabilities, you don't draft a corner if you can go get one in free agency.
Do you bring back Rock Yassin?
Depends on the money.
Okay.
It depends on the money.
Do you bring back Amik Robertson?
I think it was good while it lasted.
Yeah, that ship is out.
Do you know Amik Robertson led the NFL in yards given up by a corner over him? 800 and some odd yards.
I believe it.
Yeah. I think it's time to part ways. I think it's just time. Much shout out to Meek Robinson. I'm just talking about from the business aspect. Great person. I'm sure he's a great guy, a good athlete. He done very well while he was here. I just think when you have a season like that, they look at it, it's time to move on. Enes Rakeshaw.
Oh,
You remember him?
a little bit.
For those who don't know, Rakeshaw was drafted the same year as Terrion Arnold.
Right.
He's missed majority of the last 2 seasons due to injury. My thing is, you have to figure out what you're going to do with him. Second rounder, and it's very easy to say, hey, okay, we're not gonna deal with this. We're gonna, move past. But it's a second rounder that you invested in. You can't just do it that fast.
Absolutely not.
I think that is off the table.
Very much so.
I don't think there's a chance in hell they trade J-Mo. They just signed him too? No. Not a chance in hell.
And he continues to improve. Another 1,000-yard year. And once again, had a couple rough games, had a couple games where he barely touched the ball, but the offensive coordinator came out and said, my bad.
Yeah. There's a very, very intriguing question that's been going along amongst our friends, Foster.
What's that?
And they look at me like I'm crazy every time I break it down. And I'm going to do it again on air. The thing is, do you think you can win with Goff? Okay. I think everybody is enamored with the escapability of a lot of these quarterbacks have nowadays, the athleticism. They're looking at Caleb making throws on the run. They're looking at the Lamar Jacksons. They're looking at all the athletic quarterbacks that can escape a rush and can run and that are dangerous with the legs. I get it. Right? Josh Allen can be thrown in that mix too. Like he's definitely is very athletic and can make plays with his feet, right? My thing is this. You know what you have in Goff. You know it. The man has passed for 4,000 yards, even in this very season, where it wasn't what we all liked it to be offensively. So going in that, you have to play to your strengths of your quarterback. You have a franchise quarterback. He's not very good scrambling. You have to build the line. That line has to be solid and keep him upright, and you have to be able to run. Those are 2 very important things. If you can run the ball, if you can protect him, then you have the play action, and you put him in his strong suit of play action and being accurate. Now, does he have a cannon arm? No. We've seen some wobblers, but they get there. Not pretty. Excuse me. But they get there, right? He's very accurate. So you have to play to the strength of Goff instead of saying, we're just going to scrap it, right? Because there are some quarterbacks there's some Justin Fields out there. And he can run away from the blitz and run away from, but still, what do you get with him? You don't get what Goff is putting out. Do you think you have a success with bringing somebody like Justin Fields in here? No, probably not.
Yeah. I think people don't realize how good we have it, and if they had to experience life without him, they find out real fast how good they really had it.
I ain't seen my boy in a minute. Troy says, "What's up, fellas? This year was tough, but I checked out our next year's opponents, and I can see 9 and 10 wins for sure.
We got some bums on the schedule next year.
We get a good OC, and we're looking real solid."
I think we play the Jets next year.
He said, Tim said, "I wouldn't trade a pack of gum for Fields." And I hate to use Fields, but he was the most athletic quarterback that probably, that would be, if you made a pitch for him, you probably could get him. But I just don't think the athletic quarterback is essential to win. You can win with Goff. Now, would it be nice? Sure. Sure it would.
I mean, we've won with Goff.
We've won with Goff. We've won with Goff. And I think the problem is you have to play to his strength. Tim says, if y'all protect Goff and give him time to sit in the pocket and scan the field, y'all will be fine. Exactly. That line is the key. Open up the run game and the pass play action. Exactly what I'm saying. So you have to play to that strength. You have the quarterback here, right? You would need the same things in place with a different quarterback, being able to protect, being able to run, and being able to do play action. So why not just fix what else is here? And I think going into the draft, around the 4th, 5th, 6th round, you go ahead and get that center. You go ahead and get that center and for the future, and you make sure that they're a bona fide center. You get the best center available. You sign him early, get him a playbook, start working with him early, right? You got Tate Ratledge at your right guard. He's going to be all right. Your left guard, you got Mahogany or Miles Frazier. One of them two. They're going to be okay. They're just young. I think you do have to start looking for a left tackle. I think Decker is on his way out. He has more good yesterdays than more good tomorrows. So I think it's time to invest in the left tackle. You're good with Sewell.
For sure.
So I think approaching the draft, you almost have to take a left tackle if you can't get one in free agency. And you have to get a center later on in the draft. You have to address that line. You have to address it. Think defensively. The only thing I can say about the defense is it's something that you can't help, and that's just health. The defensive backfield was just riddled with injuries. I think up front, you got Talik and Aleem McNeil. You got Hutch. And if you throw Muhammad on there, if he's going to be your mainstay, then he gets a full, healthy year of camp and not having to look over his shoulder, I think you'll be fine. If you want to get one in the draft later on, hey, fine. You do need a linebacker. At some point, you have to address the linebacker position. I think the Detroit Lions need a sideline to sideline linebacker. They do.
Yeah.
Could be Rodriguez, but we've seen that, and we're still looking for a sideline to sideline linebacker. So he may not be the answer, right?
Yeah, it's one thing that we haven't addressed in a couple drafts, I feel like.
Yeah. Corners. You have to make a decision on whether you're going to go out and get a corner or stand pat with Terrion Arnold and DJ Reed. I think Amik is gone.
Yeah, I think that DJ would be an ideal CB2, But yeah, I think that you can't roll him in there as a CB1 going into the next season. But I don't know how you outside of drafting one in the first round, I don't know how you address that because a CB1 is going to cost you. It's going to cost you another DJ Reed contract.
I told you my philosophy. You don't draft one at 17. You try to get one in free agency or
That's
I mean,
that's going to cost you though.
It's going to cost you. Hey, he's been pinching pennies the last 2 years. You got to.
He hasn't been pinching pennies. He's been extending Kirby Joseph and JMO.
I get it. I'm talking about in free agency. I mean,
no, that's still. I mean, it's all money being spent though.
Yeah, but you're gonna have to spend some money on somebody on the outside instead of retaining. You're gonna have to spend a little bit of money, or you're gonna be back here.
They just paid DJ Reed though. How much they give him? $60 million.
I think they got DJ Reed on and what it wasn't free or nothing, but it wasn't. They didn't break the bank, and I'm not saying break the bank. And I don't even suggest you go get a corner that you have to pay for like that because you got your starting two. You need another one though.
You what? Somebody to go in the slot or somebody outside?
I don't know. It just depends on how you feel with the starting corners. How do you feel about the starting corner? Are you cool with Arnold and DJ Reed?
I'm not. I'm just trying to be economical with if I want somebody to be on the outside of the CB1, that's going to run you some serious bread. We paid DJ Reed 3 for $48.
Yeah, I understand that. But let me ask you, if you're not satisfied with DJ Reed and Terry Arnold, what do? You just play with them?
You can't pay everybody.
No, I'm just saying. So you just stand pat. So you're going to stand pat, right?
Yeah, you may have to. Yeah.
I got a solution.
What's up?
You don't expect Branch to be back at the beginning of the season. He's probably going to miss about 6-7 games.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead and get you a top-notch safety. Branch come back. That's your nickel. Just a thought.
Keep in mind, you got to pay Gibbs this year.
You do. But that's the draft. You're not paying a lot of money for the draft. You're not going out and getting a safety that, you know what I'm saying? You work with what you got. The cheapest way to build a team is through the draft.
Yeah, he said it's not your break. I mean, I get that, but NFL's got a salary cap, though. Same baseball.
You have, I mean, whether it's economical or not, I think you're fine. My personal opinion, you're okay with DJ Reed and Arnold if you have your starting safeties.
I think you're much better off.
I think you're much better off. And the cap is about to go. Tim said the cap is about to go up over $300 million. My thing is this, Foster. The corners suffered because of injuries and because of the lack of safety play. That's it.
And I think down the stretch, the last two games, the defense as a whole played pretty good. Who they played? The Vikings. Who they played? The Vikings and the Bears last two games. Obviously, we shut the Bears down for 3 quarters, and we did all that without Branch and Joseph. So and the Bears say they played a vanilla offense, which maybe is the reason why they dropped, however many they dropped on the Packers yesterday. But I don't know. Defense was all right. The run defense is what is really what was more of an issue than anything at the end of the year.
And that was the most disappointing part about the defense this year. The runs they gave up. They gave up a bunch of run yards to Pittsburgh. They gave
the Rams.
The Rams, they had a two-headed monster with the Rams. Corum and Kyron Williams just went crazy. Mm-hmm. And that was a strength for the defense last year, defending the run. You know what I'm saying? You can defend the run and you can force them into pass situation. You can play the pass without having to guess. So it's Tim says it's not the fact teams need to be economical. It's the fact that teams need to spread the money out in contracts. Got to be smart with those contracts.
And Brad Holmes all but said that they kind of messed up extending Kirby Joseph, because you got to think, of course, they did a physical on him to make sure he was good to go this year. But he said they definitely overlooked some things. And had they, in a perfect world, they would have spotted it and not gave him that contract, because he didn't really play after he got paid. He was pretty much hurt.
How many games did he miss this year? I want you to look up how many games he missed and how many games did Branch miss. I need to know that.
Kirby Joseph played 6 games this year.
So he missed 11 games. How many did Branch miss? Probably about 9.
He got suspended 1, so we know that.
Mm-hmm.
He played 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
Okay. Played 12 games. It's a lot.
That's decent.
Yeah. So he missed the last 5, obviously. Yeah. Huh? Last 4, because he was suspended 1.
He was suspended 1, yeah.
So he missed the last 4.
His last game was the 4th against the December 4th against the Cowboys. So whenever that was.
Okay. Missed the last 4. And then the crazy thing about it is that's an Achilles injury. Correct?
Yeah.
That's an Achilles injury. So that's anywhere between 6 months to a year recovery time, depending upon the athlete. So he's going to miss at least half the season. At least half. You have to go get a safety in the draft. You have to.
We drafted one last year.
Who that?
Towards ACL.
Who?
Dan Jackson, Florida, Georgia.
You know what? I forgot about him.
Yeah, somebody had just recently brought him up, so it jogged my memory. But yeah,
when did he tear his ACL?
Training camp.
So he should be back in the first couple, within the first game or two, full speed.
He should be back by training camp. I think.
I'm just worst case scenario. That's setbacks and slow healing.
Let's see what it was, because I just threw out tore it. It just says significant leg injury. Yeah. Yeah. So you got him, and then you brought in a couple other guys that played pretty well. Well, for one, Avonte Maddox, he had that interception in the Chicago Bears game.
Mm-hmm.
That guy from the Raiders, what's his name? Thomas Harper, Daniel Thomas. They were both pretty good last year.
Yeah. You might even have the answer for Branch for the meantime.
Yeah, the short term, yeah. Yeah, Daniel Thomas had a PFF of 75 overall in 111 snaps. So not bad. And then what's the other guy? Oh, Thomas Harper. He finished with a PFF of 77 in 400 snaps in the interception. So not bad. I don't think you touch it. You bring back Daniel Johnson. Yeah, I just think I think the biggest thing is we have a very high floor. It's just our ceiling isn't as high.
Right.
So same thing with corner. I think we have a decent amount. Remember, we have what's his name? Whitehead?
Yeah.
The guy from Saginaw Valley. You got guys like that. You just don't have any high end. You don't have your Patrick Surtains. You don't have your who else is a lockdown corner? We don't have any lockdown corners. We got a bunch of okay guys.
Detroit has never had a lockdown corner.
Never. Shitty, but it's true.
Yeah, never.
And we draft horribly.
We've drafted some corners, but they never turned out to be locked down. And we've fared pretty well with some safeties as far as drafting. But remember Louis Delmas?
Come on, I went to school with him.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
Went to college with him.
Concussions, man, took him out the game. Was a concussion for me? I can't remember, but it was injuries that took him out the game. But he was very, very good. Very good. I think the one thing that doomed us was something that we can't do anything about. It's just injuries, and it's happened the last 2 years. The last 2 years, it's different from last year because we still finished 15-2, and then you had a lot of people saying, "Oh, you switched coordinators, and your coordinator's not as good." Let me ask you this: transition into that. We talked about the offensive coordinator, and we know we got to get a replacement because he's gone. What do you feel about Shep? How does Shep do as a coordinator in his first year?
I think he did relatively well. I think he did good enough to get one more shot at it. I think he made some decent adjustments and ended the year on a good track. But yeah, I think next year the expectations definitely rise. You didn't really have an expectation or know what to expect from him, but you bring back a healthy group, and I think that he can improve, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of decisions that need to be made. And with that being said, do you trust Brad Holmes in addressing these decisions?
You said, do you address Brad Holmes?
Do you trust him?
Oh, do I trust him? Ugh.
I know it's different. I know at one point you said let Brad cook.
Yeah.
Just like I have. So what are you thinking now?
As far as free agency or coaching or what?
Anything. All of it. As a grand scheme of things. Addressing the needs, addressing the obvious.
If I had to draw it down the line, whether I trust or don't trust, I would say trust.
He's giving you more reasons to trust him than not trust him. I'll say that.
I think so.
For me. People are going to say, because look, go 15-2 last year, and the year before that, you can say he didn't address certain things, but you go 15-2 and nobody's talking about Brad, right? Does the same thing going in the draft the following year and go 9-8 and miss the playoffs. Now you question it. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that, especially if you have a bunch of injuries.
Yeah, I think we kind of got screwed over in that Ragnow situation because we didn't find out about that until after the draft. I guess my only gripe with him was not finding a way to address that interior at the trade deadline. I think that would be my only thing. Other than that, didn't have a great draft, but trading up for Tate and trading up for Tesla, A1.
Yeah. You know what I want to do, Foster? Next week, we're in the off season. So next week, we're going to have a segment or a whole show, whatever, addressing the last 4 or 5 drafts.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It's easy to find out. who has worked out and who hasn't. Because during the draft, I never agree with nothing. Right? And then after the draft, somehow most of the draft picks turn out to be pretty good. But there's one particular draft where it's like, look good on paper, but probably the draft 2 years ago. Terrion Arnold, Rakeshaw, I think Mahogany was in that draft. Yeah, that's a draft to look at.
Yeah. That's
if you go by it, I'm cool with Terrion Arnold. Very cool with it. I think he's coming along. I think he has a lot to prove still. He's coming along. Rakeshaw, it's looking like we whiffed on that one. But I have to look at the rest of the draft.
If he can stay healthy, he might be legit.
I'm tired of saying if he can stay healthy.
Well, this year is the year for sure. This is make or break. If he doesn't pan out this year, they're gonna part ways with him, no doubt about it.
Will they?
I think so. I think that you cut your losses. You can't just let him just sit on your. I mean, it's not like he's making $1 zillion.
What was the corner that we was hoping on? And when we got from Frisco?
Emmanuel Mosley.
Yeah. How many years did we give him?
Yeah, but he was 30 years old.
I mean, but we
2.
Yeah, because Brad, it doesn't matter if you're injured. If Brad believes in you, you'll be back.
To a flaw for sure. I mean, because he definitely did that with Marcus Davenport too.
Yeah.
Yeah, he has his guys.
He has his guys.
We know who his guys are and aren't.
So you hear that, free agents? Brad does not discriminate against you if you stay hurt.
It's football. Everybody gets hurt in football.
He doesn't knock you for being injured. So, this is a good place for you to, consider being your next, place to play. I think it's a gift and a curse. Because some people are really, really injured during the game and during practices. Then you got some that just aren't willing to risk further injury when they're nicked up. You do have those. I think Davenport is one of those that's, if you're nicked up, he's not playing. But he's been hurt for for weeks at a time, so I really can't say that. He's one of those.
No, yeah, when he gets hurt, he's hurt.
Yeah, he's hurt. he's out for 5-6 games or the rest of the season. He's hurt. But the thing is, we have to. I don't know. So people are quick to say, check out your strength and conditioning coach, right? You that's why you get injuries. But every team have good strength and conditioning coaches. Everybody gets injuries. So I think it's a bit of luck. I think it's a bit of teams that are not injury prone, they are blessed. They are very lucky. And I think we just haven't had very good luck the last 2 years. I saw an interview with Hutch earlier, Foster, and they asked him about how he felt about the defense and being 9-8. And you want to know what he says? He attributes the shortcomings to injuries. He said once the injuries are over, once everybody is healed and healthy, he thinks they can be productive. The defensive unit will be productive. So either that or he's just not throwing anybody under the bus.
Well, I mean, one thing about it is we're always going to have some injuries. I don't think that we can hang our hat on. We just won't be hurt this year.
No, it's not about that. It's about 4 or 5 at a time. You can't have 3 of your starting defensive D-backs out for injuries. That rarely happens. Maybe 1 if you're bad luck, 2. but 3 of them and you're just doomed.
Yeah. Depending on who it is, for sure.
Yep. Well, looking at ours, you got your 2 all-pro safeties. You know what I'm saying? That can't play deep into the season. You know what I'm saying? So, and then you got a corner in Terry Arnold. And if you look at his PFF rating, it's not bad. Not bad at all. People complain about Terry Arnold. You missed him, though, didn't you, when he wasn't playing?
Man, did we ever?
So you can complain about Terry Arnold, but he had his penalties, but he held up pretty good most of the games he was in. So yeah, we just need to make some decisions. Not we. The Lions need to make up some decisions on what they're going to do at certain positions, and they need to address. I think when it comes to the overall window being closed, you still have your GM that's not in danger of losing his job. You still have your head coach who's not in danger of losing his job. You still have the key parts of your offense, position players signed and intact. You still got to deal with Gibbs, but you have your offensive weapons intact. You just need to shore up that offensive line. That's it. And I don't think you have to go out and draft a bunch of people or get a bunch of free agents for your offensive line. I think you just need that one person at center. And if you can get that in free agency, I don't think centers will break the bank. But if you can get one in free agency or draft one, you'll be fine.
And Brad Holmes mentioned that Tate is a candidate to play some snaps at the center position. He did in college, and you got a whole off season to make that transition.
Yeah. So if you can move Tate Radlich to center and put Miles Frazier at right guard and Mahogany at left guard and have them play together as a unit, you might not have to address the offensive line. You might have to address the tackle, though. You do have to address left tackle,
which is the big one. That's the blind side. That's Goff's blind side. So it's important.
Yeah, because that's the one you have to address. So, and I think at 17 there will be, if you don't get one in free agency at 17, you'll have your opportunity to get a tackle.
Yeah.
A left tackle. You definitely, and then that's your bookends for the future. Penei Sewell and whoever you draft the left tackle. I think you're fine if you can show up front. And hopefully, and he's a Michigan man, and I've been following him since his career, but Glasgow's not it.
Oh my God. He might retire too.
Yeah. Yeah. I think Decker's going to retire. From as emotional as he gets, the stuff that he's been through, as far as healing and being injured, I think we've seen the last of him. So, I think when you go to the podium at 17, if you didn't get one in free agency, because you're going to pay a pretty penny for a left tackle in the NFL. Your best bet is to draft one.
Now, Ragnow didn't pass the physical. Do you see him giving it another go?
No.
I threw it out there just to see if I could get you, but nah.
You're not fooling me twice. Had my high hopes up high.
Man.
How about I'm back and then you can't pass physical? No. No. Yeah. Nope. Don't see it happening. Not depending on it, not banking on it. I think you have to address that center position, whether it's getting one in the draft, free agency, or moving Radlich over, and that's going to be your fix. And if Miles Frazier can't cut it at right guard, you have to get one at some point. The difference, you see what the Chicago Bears did in the offseason with their offensive line. They revamped their line. Chicago Bears gave up 68 sacks last year. You know how many they had this year in the regular season? 23 out of 17 games. 23.
Yeah, won a game.
It has nothing to do with escapability because Caleb was the same escapability quarterback they had last year, and he was sacked 68 times. That's 4 times a game. So figure it out. You take care of the line, you win in the trenches, you're fine. We don't even have this discussion. You don't go 9-8, you go 11-5 at least. Right? Well, Foster, you can go ahead and put a bow on this. We could be talking all day. Could be.
I mean, to put a bow on the year, disappointing year. Brian Holmes said it best. Dan Campbell said it best. Got to grade yourself a F for the season if you don't make it to the playoffs. We're not doing the A, B, B minus, C plus failure at this point if we don't make the playoffs. So a couple of major things to address. One, finding an offensive coordinator, make the Mike McDaniel thing happen. I think that would be amazing for us. And 2, addressing the offensive line. Other than that, everything else is kind of fringe type, changes. You got all the weapons you need offensively. Laporte is going to come back next year. You got Brown and St. Brown and JMO who have consecutive 1,000-yard seasons, and you still have 2 great running backs that if they had any holes to run through, we're still playing right now. So, address the offensive coordinator position and address the interior offensive line, and we back in business.
Also, I like to add defensively, get healthy, add a linebacker, just make a decision on what you're going to do as far as your starting corners. Are you, what are you going to do? I think me personally, I think they play better with good safety play. They were missing it. Have a game plan for Branch because he's going to miss, at least half the season. I'm going to predict at least half. That's an Achilles. Your Achilles tendon. That's where your explosiveness come from, and that's got to be healed fully. So, and we're in a division. We're in a tough division. The Bears are for real. Green Bay has been steady. The Vikings are looking to bounce back, and they beat us twice. So it's not going to get any easier within the division. So we have to address these issues, and I think it's feasible. Ain't no window closing. This is an opportunity to get better because the way I see it, getting to the playoffs, cool. What are you going to do in the playoffs? And if this team had gotten the playoffs, we wouldn't have went far. So we have to find a way not only to get in the playoffs, but to make a splash in the playoffs. Right?
Absolutely.
We've been here about an hour, Foster. And like I said, I got a lot more to say.
Yeah.
But I'm going to end it because we do have Midwest Cypher to handle. Make sure you subscribe to Midwest Cyphers. Make sure you subscribe to Bleachers and Speakers. Make sure you subscribe to Corner to Copo. Hey, Foster, we had 312 subscribers. We need to get to 4.
Got 3 last night, I think.
Yeah. So we need to get to 400 subscribers. What's this? The month of January. We need to get to 400 subscribers by the end of February. And we need to get to 500 by May. So we need 188 subscribers between now and May. And I think that's feasible. Let's get it. Foster, we had a great show, I believe. We can talk some more. We had a whole off season to talk, so we can definitely address a lot of the issues that we didn't uncover. But we'll get back to that. Foster, you have a great day. I'll see you in a minute. We got to do this Midwest Ciphers, but make sure you subscribe to Bleachers Speakers on YouTube.
Get your lick back. If a nigga owe you something, ain't no chit chat. Better stay up out the way, don't get your shit splat. Stop letting this shit slide and get your lick back. And get your lick back.